Wake up, weirdos. We're back. All right. This was your pick this week.
It was.
Another round.
Yep.
And tell me, before we get rolling here, how much of your decision to pick this was from our... In the morning, we'll listen to Sam Morril and Mark Normand on their podcast. Sam Morril talked about this director. He had another movie. Actually, I think he was talking about this director, about one of his movies, but he had another one because Sam Morril is a big cinephile like the two of us. Did that prompt you to pick this movie?
I would say like 30%.
Okay. So, go ahead.
Thank you. It was always a movie in the back of my mind that I wanted us to watch. Because I know you had not seen it, and I think that you had mentioned, we'd talked about it before, or at least that you hadn't seen it and I had. I don't know.
I'm wondering how much of this had to do with...
It was just a reminder hearing it on their podcast.
Oh, right.
I also love Mads Mikkelsen.
I just educated you that he was a model before he was an actor this morning.
Yeah, and I read some of his Wikipedia, and it said he was, he wanted to be a gymnast, and then from gymnast he went to ballet. Mm-hmm. And then other life happened.
You could tell by the end of this movie.
Yes, I know, I love that.
So, just to give you the quick synopsis and reminder, every time we look at a movie, we throw a number of different videos and articles into Notebook LM, and it spits out for us synopsis and production notes, stories about the cast, how the movie came together, interesting stories about distribution and financing, and we just talk about whatever piques our fancy. Sources from this pairing, I'm going to let Louisa take over in a second. I'm just going to give you the broad strokes here. 2020 Danish film Another Round, directed by Thomas Vinterberg, follows four teachers who test the theory that maintaining a constant level of intoxication improves life. We're going to get back to this in a second.
Both social and professionally.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
This is not the adjective I would have chose for. It just seems kind of absurdly implausible. So this was a good movie. I'm going to start off saying that. Good in terms of accurate as far as how alcohol, when consumed in volume, how that impacts your life and the life of the people around you. But I found it implausible that four teachers would get together, four educators, and be like,
in a private school.
You know what we should try to do?
Not private school.
You know what we should do? We should all
show up to work
drunk.
And then while we're there, we should keep
We're
going to
do it. You know what? I think that I read this article once that if you're a little bit drunk, it improves your occupation, your output, your relationship with your family.
Everybody will love you more. I mean, how could you go wrong?
I saw this and I'm like, what kind of 15-year-old logic is this for educators to be like, oh no, it was a social scientist who wrote this article and he's very well... What was the name of the guy who... This is an actual article.
Finn... His name starts with an S, but I don't speak...
You don't have him in the...
Danish, so...
Oh, it's a Danish...
A Danish researcher. Finn... Somebody.
This is what I had a problem with this movie. Was that these four teachers were like, we should all try and get drunk and see if that makes our life better. I'm like... What? Like, if you were sitting in a bar with your friend, as you're a teacher, if you were sitting out to dinner with some friends that you taught with, and this was brought up as a concept or an idea, You'd be horrified.
I'd be horrified, and honestly, I'd probably think like, "Oh, that person needs to be fired for even bringing it up."
And all four of these guys were like, this is a good. We should give it a try. But I think from watching this, you kind of see that every one of these guys has flaws or underlying issues in their regular life.
Yes.
And they use this study as an excuse to numb the pain.
Yes.
I don't really believe that they. What was that?
I don't know.
It's like Godzilla is living in your pipes. Anyway.
That was very interesting.
Anyway.
I don't know what that was.
They brought up this. What was it? You have to keep a level of 0.05
a
blood
constant,
alcohol.
Yeah.
You have to keep your blood at that level to be sharper at work, more relaxed, sharper yet more relaxed at work, and it lubricates just enough your social interactions with people to make life a little bit easier. And they brought it up a couple times throughout the film.
Uh-huh.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
But when they brought this up, I'm like, you're lying to yourself. You're upset about it. Like the one guy, his marriage is falling apart. The other guy doesn't have anybody. The other guy is married to the perfect wife, but his kids sleep with them in their bed, and they piss all over him. And he's got marriage and little kid troubles.
I think, yeah. I mean, I guess.
And they use this study as a crutch, like an excuse to say, let's get together and really get hammered.
Yeah, and let's escape our lives that we're not so happy about. Also, I think it's like, would you say like a Band-Aid to put on your life's problems?
I think part of the reason why I'm reacting, I mean, that's saying it very, you want me to get you a tissue?
I'm okay, thank you.
I would say Band-Aid is kind of that's an overused term.
Yeah, I don't usually like to use it, but it came up recently in my life, so that's why I used it, actually.
Being the child of an alcoholic, I have a kind of a visceral reaction to this stuff. I have been drunk, I think, maybe 4 times in my life, and I was totally disgusted when I woke up with how it felt. The idea that anyone can become I remember every time the following day thinking to myself, how in the name of God can anyone become addicted to this?
Yeah.
Because you feel like absolute shit.
I don't see how it's fun. I don't. I mean, my personal
I think you really have to be bummed out for that to feel like a band. You want a downer to make you feel better. And I luckily have never had a problem with when things aren't going the way I want them to go.
That's what you turn to.
Well, no, but when things aren't going well, I know that inside that I have work to do.
So you can't.
That I know that is an escape. I know that's avoiding the problem. And I think, or I have seen enough evidence where people turn to alcohol that things in their life are not unfolding or progressing in the manner or speed with which they want them to. That and it's painful when you're in that space. It's easier and faster to numb the pain than to actually do the hard work of changing your situation or changing your life or your romantic partner or your job. It involves a degree of consistent, sustained effort.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I don't like using the patch of a lot of people. It is obvious that a big chunk of the population utilized that. I think today's younger generation is avoiding alcohol.
Yeah.
That's what I hear about the distilleries. A lot of the distilleries are sitting on huge inventories because younger people have social anxiety. They turn to their phone well before they would deal with going out,
Yeah.
interacting with people, or drinking a little bit to lubricate the situation of interacting with members of the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
But this was an it was an emotionally charged movie, but I have, as a reviewer, I have a hard time giving a warm reception to this movie, even though I thought it was well. It's an emotionally potent story,
Mm-hmm.
but I just have such. I'm just revulsed by alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see on film 4 teachers being like, we should try this thing out. Let's see if we can maintain being drunk. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? You're teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they threw in a couple times that, they're Danish.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we have a drinking culture. I'm like, what? You don't have a, fall down drunk, not be able to do your job culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or maybe you do. I don't know.
I don't know. We don't live there, work there.
But and I'm off topic here. Production notes and critical reviews highlight how the story shifted toward a life-affirming message following the tragic death of the director's daughter, which you had mentioned to me earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Moving beyond a simple celebration of alcohol, discussions from online forums and film journals illustrate the continuous interpretations of the movie's ending, debating whether the protagonist's final dance represents a joyful rebirth or a dangerous descent back into addiction. Ultimately, the materials portray the film as a nuanced exploration of the uncontrollable aspects of human existence set against the backdrop of Denmark's specific social drinking culture. A planned American remake and numerous international accolades further emphasize the project's broad cultural resonance. I'm going to let you jump in here with how this thing affected you, because I don't want to get on my soapbox again.
Okay, well, I don't know.
I guess part of what you've seen this before, you told me.
Mm-hmm. I just saw it when it came out in the movie theater, and I was going to all the movies at that time, so it was just another one, and I don't honestly know if, oh, you know what? No, I think it was just a movie, not just a movie, but it was a new movie at the movie theater, and I was going to see most of the movies that they were showing, but I also think that the main actor was a big draw for me, and then Danish films, I tend to like those, so,
I didn't know
and it was an interesting premise to me, very interesting. I don't think I knew all of it going in, but I had an idea, and also I'm a teacher, and I teach 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, so that's a lot different, but a movie about teaching, anything related, is also appealing to me. But I just remember seeing this movie and just thinking, this is such an interesting, I know it's from a study that was done, or from this belief of this researcher, excuse me. I don't know, I thought it was...
Stuart Hall.
It's interesting.
Drawing from the work of Stuart Hall, the sources suggest that objects do not have inherent meaning. Rather, meaning is created through a representational system of language and audiovisual signs such as lighting, mise-en-scène, and sound. Shani, what?
I'm sorry.
Shani Orgard's theories are used to argue that media representations matter because power relations are embedded within them, allowing films to legitimize certain truths while marginalizing others. Let's see here.
So then in the movie, it was a fictional researcher, maybe?
Well, this is under the theoretical framework of representation. I don't recall in the film who they referenced because this is all subtitled, and
A guy named Vin.
It's in conversational. It's a conversational speed. So I don't know about you, but
I see where you're
missed
looking.
some of the. I missed some of the references. So I know they mentioned who this researcher was, but if it was real or just made up for the film, I don't know. Alcohol consumption and the moral journey. The morality tale, Norman Denzin's framework categorizes alcoholic's journey. That's who it was, Norman Denzin, into 3 phases: seduction, the fall from grace, and redemption. Protagonist experiment follows this cycle where drinking initially revitalizes their lives in the seduction stage before leading to tragedy, which is the fall, and then eventual emotional reconnection, redemption. And they leave out here that redemption doesn't come for everybody. Some people just stay in the fall. Lots of people stay in the fall.
Yeah.
The active drinker. Marcus Grant's theory suggests the film often portrays a drinker as attractive, whether they maintain control while consuming large quantities, equating this control with greater manliness. Cinematic background. Andrew Tudor's work distinguishes between alcohol as a routinized background representing normality and an exceptional foreground portraying addiction. Under creative problem solving, a psychological framework provided by Jarosz et al. Suggests that moderate intoxication can actually facilitate creativity by I don't know what is wrong with my fucking speech today. I might be having little aneurysms, which is a problem because you can't drive me
To the hospital.
anywhere. You better call your mother.
I will. That is what I would do.
Moderate intoxication can actually facilitate creativity by reducing. It happened again. God, by reducing attentional control, allowing for aha moments and more diffuse activation in memory. Outside of the theoretical frameworks and not being a scientist, when you have one or two, you feel a little looser. I know this. I don't have a lot of inhibitions, but they get, the few that I do have, they get stripped away. I'll be even more liberal than I already am with my words. This was the biggest problem I had with this movie, was that 4 teachers came up with this idea. It just bothered me as a...
And they thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, these guys are in their 40s.
A social experiment for them to try, again, involving their line of work.
Yes.
And, I mean, not that it would be good to be drunk at any job, but, like, you're teachers, and don't you think that if someone was drinking, you would know? You would notice immediately, especially if they came into work and you all get together before the workday or you meet in the teacher's lounge.
Perfect example is when right after that first meeting, they decided to have this. They were going to engage in this experiment. Mads has a swig of vodka before work. He walks by his boss.
Yeah.
And she the camera follows Mads, and his principal walks by him, but you can tell that he is just he smells like a distillery.
Yeah.
Which is not good with vodka. I don't think it has much of a scent. But she walks past him towards the camera and passing the camera, and she whips her head around like, what the hell is that? What is that? Mm-hmm. And you know that she's looking because he's reeking of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's kind of loose in his steps, too. Mm-hmm. Like, he's obviously, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt or cut you off. I do that a lot. But I was going to say that earlier in this episode as well, that not only do they have to maintain this constant blood alcohol level, well, no, let me start again. In order to maintain this constant level, I can't.
Now who's having the aneurysm?
Mm-hmm. In order to maintain this constant blood alcohol level.
We should just call him Uber.
Oh, yeah, we could just do it on our phones.
In order to maintain this level, go ahead.
As soon as they wake up in the morning, they start drinking. Mm-hmm. So, whereas I would go into my kitchen and I would make some tea, or I would get some yogurt or a piece of fruit or something, Mads' character goes into into the kitchen and pulls out sparkling water and a bottle of vodka that he's, by the way, hidden in his freezer. Mm-hmm. But he just woke up and rolled out of bed.
I think what's funny about this movie is right after they have decided to engage this experiment, mm-hmm. virtually immediately they delve into chronic alcoholic behavior. They're all hiding booze all over their house, all over their workplace.
There's no leading up to it. They just whoa. And no drinking.
Their one friend, the tall phys ed teacher, mm-hmm. he's inside. Within the first hour, he's got 3 bottles at hidden least, all over his
where he works.
Yeah, where he works.
He's the gym teacher, I think.
Yeah. And they all come into faculty meetings a little toasty, mm-hmm. and the gym guy comes in. Mads comes in all screwed up, runs into a wall.
Yeah, gets a bloody nose.
Yeah, the gym teacher comes in at the worst possible time when the principal is like, "Look, it's been circulating." I think
something's going on.
And right when she says that, what is his name? Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy comes in.
She's just sorry. I think.
Go ahead.
The principal is holding a meeting because she wants everyone to know that apparently there are staff who are drinking. And not only are they drinking alcohol outside of school, but they're drinking alcohol at school during the school day. Mm-hmm. Continue. Sorry.
And then Tommy walks in, and he's clearly fucked up.
And he's like, hello. How's it going?
He can't sit down. He's stumbling. He's knocking things over in front of all of his peers and all of his colleagues.
And so then you're like, so who is this who is drinking? Oh, it must be Tommy. Well, at least he's one of them, if there are more.
What's sad to me is that there's even a scene where one of them has a student, a philosophy guy. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that was awful.
He's ridden with anxiety mm-hmm. about this test he has to take.
Yeah, to get on to the next level of education.
Yeah, to go to college because he wants to go to med school. Mm-hmm. And he has to give an oral exam. Mm-hmm. And he's racked with anxiety. Mm-hmm. Right before he goes in to take his test with this teacher and another one, mm-hmm. Teacher's like, you know what? Have a drink.
In fact, have two.
He coerces him to drink during the test.
At school during the day.
Just like... I know it's a movie, but it's a recent movie, and to watch this, and I was just horrified by. It's not probably the right word. I'm like, this is so. Part of me was saying, this is clearly fiction, but the idea that we see things in the news all the time about good-looking new teachers who screw their students. They're mm-hmm. People behave abhorrently, mm-hmm. and then to see it on film, I just had a bit of a hard time with it. As a teacher, someone who's been doing this for a while, you can't possibly allow yourself to suggest this to a kid. I don't care if it is Amsterdam. I mean,
It doesn't matter where it is. It's alcohol at school, at work. And it's a teacher to a kid. That relationship is not for that.
and again, I didn't want to get on my soapbox, but having a background with someone who destroyed their life drinking, this movie very quickly showed how the adverse effects it's almost like a tidal wave. It hits these guys in every direction all at once.
Mm-hmm. And it gets very bad before it gets better. And honestly, I think I remember watching this movie for the first time and thinking, where, when, how, whatever the word is that I want, is it going to get better? Because right now, it seems like everything is so bad for all of these characters. And again, they're teachers and they have families and everything is just so messed up in their lives. And on top of it, they're doing this social research experiment. Is that the right word? Experiment. And
which honestly, like, again, it was such a thin veil for me. I'm like, you don't want to experiment. You guys are all unhappy.
yeah, and you want something to help with that or to cover it up.
Yeah, and you're using your background in education to create the guise of something that has some kind of scholastic validity to it.
Mm-hmm.
When, if you're paying attention, that these guys are all Mads has his wife. He's disconnected from his wife. You can see that his kids are, they're teenagers, just sitting around like eating pizza and watching TV and.
But they also know something's up and like what's going
No,
on.
I'm talking about the very,
sorry.
very beginning.
Oh, okay.
When they're just sitting around the house before he leaves the house to meet up with his buddy for his
dinner.
birthday.
Mm-hmm.
There's that moment where he looks back and he just has this look of dissatisfaction on his face.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of get to this. I almost wonder if the director is kind of. This is how it hit me. It's almost as if he's baiting the audience to see through that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just to be like, come on, these guys' lives are fucked up.
Yeah. So.
And like they're teachers, so they can frame starting to drink too much under having
pressures of work and.
Well, no, but like have the auspice of there's something scientific about what we're doing.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that direction, yep.
There is a scene where, well, it does have fatal consequences for one of them. I don't think that's really giving away anything. But the scene where it actually happens, there's all kinds of foreshadowing in that.
Yeah.
With the life jacket and the dog and the, like, oh my God, you're getting in that? That's a bad idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't see that coming.
You didn't?
No. I did at a certain point watching the movie, but...
Like when the dog was there by itself?
What I want to say is I don't remember that happening. So watching it this time recently today, I just forgot about it. But I don't think that I saw that coming when I watched it the first time either. I mean, eventually you kind of figure it out, but in the beginning I was like, really?
Here's another little write-up within Notebook. Alcohol is a medical excuse for fragile masculinity.
Oh,
Perfect.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Critically, the sources suggest alcohol serves as a medical ailment that shields men from accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Masking inadequacy. Glenn Donner argues that portrayals of addiction in Scandinavian cinema often act as an excuse for male anxiety and inadequacy, forcing a sense of male victimhood. Gendered support system. The representation of alcohol highlights a persistent gender imbalance, while the men spiral, their female partners are relegated to support systems. The narrative rewards men who are supported by loving wives with redemption, while characters like Tommy, who lack this female anchor, like I said, succumb to death. All right, gave it away there, but still, it wraps you in. Like Mads's character, his relationship with his wife devolves, and you see at one point they are split up or separated, and he quite nearly begs her to return while they are getting together to discuss the boys' schedules, because they're clearly living apart at this point.
Yeah.
And he very nearly begs her to return, and she gets emotional and leaves and says, I can't discuss we're done.
Yeah.
And at the end, she reaches out, and you think for a moment that, this is right at graduation. These kids, this is crazy as to see this as an American. These kids have graduated. The day that they graduate, they all go out on buses out to the pier, like by water, and get completely blitzed with their teachers.
And I thought that was so interesting.
Yeah, what Mads is, his buddies are in a restaurant before the kids get there.
Yeah.
And he gets this text from his wife, and you're like, oh, finally some redemption. And then these kids show up, and he's hanging out with them, and they all start drinking again. And I'm like, what? You just got what you had lost.
Right.
You were clearly upset about this, and now you're risking it all over again. And they had exchanged, the feelings were on both sides, him and his wife. But there was another scene like that, like they all got together at one of the guys, they were all together at one of their apartments. The first time they got really screwed up.
Yes.
And they made those cocktails that Mads was like,
I'm not going to.
I'm not going to.
And then on his way out,
he succumbs. And the exact same thing happened at the end of the movie. You're like, and you could feel that it was virtually the same scene. Because he knew things weren't going well with the wife. He wanted to mend things. And he gave into this stereotypical peer pressure scene. And at the end of the movie, it was no different. It's like you've been given 2 chances now. And there's a bit of a trigger ending where it could go, like, you don't know how it turned out, but from life experience, it tells me it's not that great. It just sounds like it's setting up for more heartbreak. So, good movie, but I'll tell you, one thing that this movie did is just reaffirm my desire. We'll pick up a bottle of whiskey to have as an aperitif after dinner. And this is Louisa and I's thing. We'll have 3 sips of a glass, and that's it.
Yeah, no, it's by no means.
We don't do the beer thing. We don't have multiple glasses. And when I see people who have this problem, I think some people have a feeling of pity. I don't really feel pity for that. And I understand there's, some people are weak with this and they need something, but I don't know, I just get mad when I see it.
Yeah. It is very anger-inducing.
To me, it just shows a lack of control.
And respect for yourself. I mean, if you're... And I'm not saying that, I know that there are outside factors and influences, and that some people are born with more addiction things than others, but I'm just not anywhere.
There's just so many virtually unending sea of lives that have been broken and destroyed by substances, and yet people still do them.
Yep.
I have a friend who you know of that he's in recovery now, but we've been friends for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to say like my feelings on alcoholism because I know it's something he struggles with, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he's doing much better now.
Mm-hmm.
But and he and I have talked about this. Like it's such you got to deal with the underlying issues. Like if things are going well, they're going the way you want them to go.
Mm-hmm.
You don't behave like this. It's always alcoholism and drinking is always a result of things that in your life are not in some way fulfilled or correct, or there's some kind of anxiety. You're trying to mask the pain with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's folks out there who are alcoholics who, if they were to listen to this, they'd have a different take on it. But it's not exactly an uncommon point of view for why alcoholism exists. I know at least with my own mother, that was her. I don't know how she got started, but all the things that weren't going well. Whenever there was a problem, there was something didn't go her way. Like she tried to get custody of me when I was little,
Mm-hmm.
and she almost got it. And then I just had presence of mind at like 11 to be like, I don't think this is a good idea,
Mm-hmm.
and that she spiraled again.
Mm-hmm.
So worth seeing for sure, but. And I wouldn't say it was a downer at the end, would you?
No.
But I'm struggling with this one. You're going to have to weigh in, like with how to describe it.
I just think it was an interesting social commentary on a culture's, I don't know.
How they interact with alcohol?
Yes, actually, exactly. And it wasn't something that I could personally relate to, but I thought, the reason I watch some movies is because I think the reason I watch any movie, I guess, is because it's different than my own life.
Uh-huh.
And I just think that I watch movies because they're different than my own life, and I watch movies because they're about all kinds of things. And, everybody makes movies. And, like I said before, like I'm a teacher of young children. But I just thought it was interesting for this group of guys that were friends in this higher up kind of teaching position. To see information like this and then go further with it. I would definitely say it's not a downer. I think that there were some, quote, downer moments, but in the end, I think it all, comes together and, I don't know, it's back to, uplifting and happy. And that's another thing that I personally love about movies is, relationships between people, whether they be family, friends, coworkers. That's very interesting to me. So I do remember thinking that from this movie, these people are friends, they're teachers at a school, they are having these interpersonal relationships or whatever you call it, family issues, and they're going to do something with drinking, and I don't know, kind of interesting to me.
I think it just blows me away that after especially growing up in the 80s, you make a movie like this, you'd be so pro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's pro, at least a portion of it's pro drinking.
Yeah, yeah.
But from the sources you pulled up, I'm going to hit this real quick and then we'll call it a day.
I like this movie a lot, actually.
Fluidity of identity. Hegemonic masculinity is not a fixed set of traits, but is dynamic and fluid. Men may alternate between embracing or distancing themselves from these ideals depending on the social benefit. Prescribed attributes, according to Linda Holtzman and Leon Sharp, traditional masculine gender ideals prescribe that a quote-unquote real man must be physically strong, emotionally stoic, and a successful breadwinner. Midlife crisis in another round. Framework applies to these theories to the protagonist Martin, who is Mads Mikkelsen, whose initial state is characterized by a perceived lack of virility. His stagnant career and cold marriage represent a failure to meet hegemonic standards, leading to feelings of defeat. You can just see he does a really good job of just showing that in his face when he leaves his house to partake in the birthday party. Masculinity and medical excuse. Vulnerability to the Scandinavian film. Anders Marklund notes that Scandinavian cinema frequently depicts men who deviate from the hero archetype, portraying them as emotional, vulnerable, and in need of help. Drowning insecurities. In another round, the character's alcohol experiment is theorized as a way to drown insecurities and soften the blow of failing to meet traditional masculine standards. And the performative link between alcohol and manliness. Theoretical framework connects masculinity to the act of drinking through specific cinematic archetypes. Active drinker, reclaiming virility, gendered support system, and binary roles. Yeah, it totally makes sense that Tommy was the person who fell the hardest. Because he had nobody. Which was, he had all these kids, though. Like, he was the coach, and
Yeah.
you had that one kid, Specs, who just... I think he was someone who was... He's the most tragic because... You remember the little kid with the glasses, Specs, was like, I didn't bring my water bottle, let me have some of yours. And there was a second where he looked at it, and he looked at the kid. He's like, no, you can't have mine. But he knew, he's like, what I'm doing is wrong, and this is bad for this kid.
Right.
And I have to turn this around, at least in his eyes. So, well-made film for sure. If you have the opportunity, do it. What else do I got? Do I have a recipe?
I can't remember.
Know. I don't remember either.
I want to say maybe not.
I probably don't. Lucky you.
Well, you had 2 the last time.
Well, see if I got a short one. I might have one for turkey. Oh no, this is cheese and pickle. Let me see if there's honey in here. Oh, you know what? There's no honey in this one. No, I don't. But this episode was still brought to you by HeyHoney.biz. For all your honey needs. I'll find one for you next time. We don't have the next movie picked out yet, but we will. We'll find it. Come back next week. Hugs and kisses.
Yep.
Toodles.
Thanks for listening.